necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff, management, ownership of the station. Jay and Janine are expressing their own opinions, and such is not a substitute for psychological or mental health advice. If you are experiencing an emergency, please hang up and call 911.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show, where we're talking everything personal development, coaching, health, and the law. I'm your host, Jay, here with co-host Janine.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Please join us on Facebook, where we can be found at the Momentum Mindset Show. And if you want to call in and be part of the show, we would love to hear from you. It's 888-565-1470. And if being on live radio is not your thing, no problem. Send us your comments and we will interact with you on Facebook.
Let's create some momentum.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, South Florida, and welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show. I'm your host, Jay Farrow, and we have a fantastic show for you today. When I say we, this is going to be an extraordinary show for this reason. I not only have a co-host that's a special person in my life who's sitting in for Janine Davis, but this is her name is also Janine. And today we have three Janines that are in my life, Janine Davis, Janine Foster, and Janine Robledo. And these are the three Janines that support me in some of the things that I'm up to in my life. So it's going to be an excellent show. We have a lot to talk about. I just want to welcome you first and thank you for coming and filling in while Janine's out of town. It's kind of weird. I'm like starting the show. It's like a little bit unusual, but just bear with me. But welcome to the show. You are a personal trainer and coach. And why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and say hello to Radio Land?
I think it's surreal that I'm sitting here and all I'm thinking about is the Janine's Cube. So my name is Janine Foster. I am a CrossFit coach. I am a personal trainer. And I also am a strength and conditioning coach. So I work with athletes as well.
And I was thinking about, as we're approaching the holidays, and we were talking about this morning and maybe a little bit for last week, where some people get into the mindset as, you know what, the holidays are upon us, so I'm not going to get into a fitness routine right now. I'm not going to do anything about my health. I'm just going to start next year. And I thought about that as well. It's like, well, Thanksgiving's about a month away. If you can believe that. I mean, we're about a month away from Thanksgiving, and, it's so easy right now to give up. But I was talking to you about this morning. I was like, how many people have that mindset and how wrong are they for doing that? Because I would think that when you're starting that New Year's resolution, which is right around the corner, I mean, how many people are out of the gym in 2 weeks after making that? I mean, and wouldn't this be the time right now to start thinking about like investing in your health?
Yes, it's interesting. If you look at the gyms now, they're dead. And then the second week of January, they're filled. You can't even get a machine. And I like to think about it as this, going through the holidays, how can you set yourself up to enjoy the holidays with family and friends and also have the balance of enjoying yourself and keeping your goals on track? So I always bring it back to the why, like what is your purpose in setting a goal for yourself and what is your ultimate goal and having an accountability partner.
So I was thinking about all the things that came up for me this week. And this is what we usually do on this show is have like a weekly check-in. And some of it was my worth, like claiming my worth, keeping my worth. Like, why do I do what I do? And connecting to, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, there was a 2-week period that I didn't go to the gym for 2 weeks. I mean, yes, I was in New York and I had all kinds of excuses and all the kinds of things that are going on in my life, but somehow, some way, I just fell off that part of my life. Now, I was doing some extraordinary things in other parts of my life. But what I've done in the last week, with your support, is I've gotten back on a routine, and I feel fantastic. I'm eating on point. I'm really feeling it. But this week was tough because there was like a couple of days where when you're getting back into routine, you're getting back into the gym, and it's that commitment for the first week that really was difficult. And I know a lot of people out there getting over the conversation, like, listen, it's been so many months. Maybe I didn't fulfill my New Year's resolution, or maybe I stopped working out in the summertime, or I stopped caring about my health at some point. How do you get back? That's what was coming up for me this week. How many other people out there wouldn't get back or wouldn't start asking these questions? And that's why I think it's so powerful to talk about that this week. Is the motivation, that why, that would get you back to care about your health or whatever else that is that you're up to this week. So I was thinking, like, what in your experience, like, what are some of the things that would support people to get back on track right now instead of waiting to the new year?
I think, and ultimately in life, it's why is your health important for you? Because when you get connected with why it's important for you, you will get up early. You will make that time, even if it's a 30-minute jog, a 30-minute walk, to have that happen. And I like to think of it as balance. I mean, sometimes we look at it and be like, oh man, I got to go to the gym. I got to do this. I got to do that. And maybe you just set 30 minutes out of your day for you and schedule it. Like, you schedule an appointment to go to the dentist and the doctor. Like, why not schedule time for yourself? And I think that's the biggest thing that people forget. They forget themselves. And until something happens. And then now it's like, okay, now I'm first. No, like, look at it and see how you can balance out your day, and reaching out and using your voice and saying, hey, I need support here. Will you hold me accountable? Will you join me at 5 a.m. for a workout?
And that's really sometimes what it takes, is to get that person to show up with you at 5 o'clock in the morning. And whether that's a personal trainer or a friend or someone else that's willing to commit there with you. Because I know that especially this week, even though it's been 2 weeks and I was all in my stuff. I mean, I really was. I was like, you know what? It's been this long. I mean, my attitude, it was noticeable and palatable from, I feel energetic. I feel funny. I feel on fire right now. But when you're not doing that, I mean, there's so many reasons to continue to feel that bad, as many reasons to feel that good. Getting someone to show up with you, though, that's like huge. I mean, it's just, I don't know if I could have done it without it.
I agree. And I think about myself and what I get from working out, right? Like, I have struggles too. I may just go in for 4 hours and beating myself up instead of balancing out my day and going slower. And I think about it for myself, like, what is it for me? And that 30 minutes or an hour or whatever time you spend in the gym is like your time. And I truly believe that when you get up at that 5 o'clock in the morning, or maybe you make the time at 8 p.m. when your child is asleep, whatever it looks like for you, you're putting that penny in that penny bank of self-worth or confidence or commitment. And then you're building that muscle. The same thing. It's a muscle.
And it goes by, and how quickly, though, I felt like I lost it. It's interesting. I'm just noticing that about myself.
Yeah.
How if I haven't done something yesterday, or then it's been 2 days, and it could be anything. It's not just working out. It could be journaling. It could be all these things that keep me healthy. I think keep me healthy. And it's like a couple days go by, and then I have the not today, and then I start to feel it, and it becomes that much more difficult to break through whatever that magical stuff it is that says, eat that extra piece of ice cream, or don't go work out. There's something, I don't know if it's how I'm hardwired. I don't know if it's something from my past.
I think we we get a payoff from beating ourselves up for not doing what we say we're going to do.
No, what's that payoff, you think?
There's something there for people to be like, okay, it's easier not to do it. And then I get to be right, or whatever it is that, like, I can't get stuff done, or I can't have it all, or, I'm never going to be healthy, or
and that's
whatever
how it goes back into this this cycle.
Yes.
If I'm eating right, then I get to the gym, then I want to eat right again.
Yes.
But it's the opposite thing. If I don't eat right, and then I don't wake up on time, and I don't do this, and then I get to be right about it, and I start to feel like all those things. Like, I told myself I was hardwired to be a screw up. I told myself that I could never achieve anything. I told myself, and all these things are coming true. So see, I'm right about all that stuff. I knew that I was never going to be anything or amount to anything. And you're sitting there and you're like, what is that all about? And breaking out of that, that's what I really want to talk about on the show, is like, when you get there, when you get to that place where you've fallen off, you've done your best to not do your best. What are some of the things that people, that in your experience as a trainer, that you've seen people, or what you would give as far as advice to get out of that? Because it's certainly maybe not getting to the gym and going there for 2 hours. I mean, what do you think someone like that would like if someone was in that circumstance to just break through that?
I think having one goal. So maybe it's going to the gym, like setting that one goal. And I actually think it's like way before that. I am a big believer it's in the way you feel. So if we take some time, because society is always going, that we forget and we're not still. So we're not checking in with our body and how we feel when we work out until we don't work out. There's no in between, right? It's either this or that. And I feel that if we take a second and we take some time and be still and we connect with the feeling that we get from working out and we become in tune with that, that's what brings us back to that again. That's what gets us up in the morning, that part of it. It's not so much in the doing this. Like, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to work out, because you probably see those people that just stand on the treadmill and talk anyway. So, like, they might as well just not go.
We've been working out for a while. I mean, Janine's been with me since I started this full life transformation back on March 11th of 2018. And when I started that, I was one of those people that would go, if I did go to the gym, I wouldn't be doing that much, right? But we've seen a bunch of people in the way that they work out, and you get to notice people and what comes up for them, because you could be there. And this goes for anything. You could go to the gym and not work out, and you're not going to get any results. I go to my office and say that I'm in my office, because this comes up for me all the time. That really just, it's like a thing. If I start getting on the computer and I start checking out the internet and looking at CNN, I mean, I'm not getting anything done. That's even worse to me than actually not going, because it's like it frustrates me to know that I'm there and understand, like, why is it I cannot get into my work today? Why is it that I'm not getting into the routine? And what I've found through this process of transformation, especially when it comes to my body, is having a plan, like you just said, to have, when I get there, it's going to be 30 minutes or it's going to be 10 minutes. And having a plan, I'm going to do this exercise, and this exercise, and that's it. And I'm good for today, and acknowledging yourself for that. Because once that's over, I mean, I know just getting there for the first 10 minutes, it's like that's the key.
Oh, yeah.
And I tell people, I don't know who it is that gets me in a car every single morning to get to the gym. It's not me. I mean, I don't do it, because someone else throws me into the car and and drives me over there. But that's how it starts, like, my day. That's what starts my initial crawl out of that hole when I'm in there. Because if there's one thing that I know that I've been able to do, and I think that you've seen it, and I know that you've done it yourself, is crawl out of that whenever you're in it. Because that's, and I'm going to take a break in a second, but someone that I know said something powerful for me. Actually, it was to a group yesterday. She had a very tough time of it recently. She had a really tough time of it, and she considered committing suicide. And she reached out to me and a bunch of other people, thank God, and she didn't do that. But somebody said to her, "What's wrong with you? I thought you read all those books. I thought you went to all those seminars. I thought you did all this work." She's like, and the person said to them, "See, I knew all that stuff wasn't going to work." And what she said was something incredible. She said, "Do you remember that hurricane that just hit the Bahamas?" She's like, "That's how it feels sometimes for me. And sometimes, no matter what I've done, no matter how strong I built my buildings, no matter how deep I built my foundation, there's a storm that comes in my mind that's so powerful that it just knocks things down, and there's nothing I could do about it, and that's okay." And it was just like, wow. I mean, because I've heard that people that poo-poo the personal development, or seminars, or just period, just like not understanding what's available as far as what that world is, says, "Well, see, I told you weren't right." It's not even my family. When I'm not having the best time, "Oh, I thought you did all that work." So I'm going to go take a break, because I think the other Janine's going to be joining us on the other side of this break.
Yay.
But we'll be right back after this message from my law firm.
Farrow Law Firm, standing up to corporate bullies, using innovative, aggressive, and effective strategies to resolve disputes effectively and timely. Contact us at 954-252-9818. online at farrowlawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrow Law Firm. We look forward to being of service to you.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show.
With Jay and Janine, give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
Welcome back to the Momentum Mindset Show. And like I was sharing at the beginning of the show, we're going to have not one, not two, but three Janines on today. And we are now joined via telephone from, I understand, someplace on the road in Virginia. Janine Davis, the actual host of the show.
Hills of
Where's that?
The Rolling Hills of Virginia, on our way to Harrisonburg to see my athlete niece, who is going to be playing a really big game tonight in volleyball.
Oh, yeah? And who are they playing?
Yeah. Who are they playing? Northeastern. That was so authentic. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. And Janine Foster, my love, the beautiful blonde Janine. Thank you so much.
You know, Janine, I had to. It's so weird. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. But I had all these kinds of jokes that I had set up for the beginning of the show, but I just was like, I didn't know what to do with myself because I was going to say something about like you dyed your hair, you know, some play off that because. No one understands, like, how is it possible that, like, you know, my business partner is named Janine, my personal trainer is named Janine, my piano teacher is named Janine. I mean, and this is like, it's not, it's.
Exactly. Let's all agree that Janine is not the most common of names. So that's what makes it even more bizarre and unbelievable. Like, it's just really a crazy thing. But I really would like to thank you, Janine, and welcome to the show. And I can't wait to see what Janine Robledo has to say. And you guys are killing it. And but I am in the mountains here, you know, in the rolling hills of Virginia. So I have service. I don't have service. But I just wanted to wish everybody a fantastic weekend. Remember to always keep going. And I love the conversation you all are having about commitment, self-esteem, and you know, really making those deposits into what's important for you and taking care of your health.
And what we're really, Janine, what we're getting into is the holidays are upon us, but that's no reason to quit. I mean, and it's actually a reason
100%.
to start. It's actually a reason to start. And
Agreed. Actually, my sister-in-law and I were just talking about that as we were listening to the show. She was like, yeah, for sure. No, I'm like really taking care of myself now because I can't get any heavier than I am now. So, I mean, so it's an interesting thing the way people look at it. So it's an important conversation.
So I'm asking Janine right now, the other Janine Foster. You know, okay, we're 4 weeks away from Thanksgiving. Now, if someone wanted to get a hold of you, first of all, like to start, what are some of the programs that you're offering right now?
I mean, it's pretty much nutrition. I start there because setting them up with eating 3 meals, and then the other 2 meals you can eat whatever you want. The 3 meals and following how they're eating, and it's actually really just seeing where they're at right now. Because I don't really think that there's just like, okay, here's a program and go and follow it because there's not a one size fits all.
Okay.
So I really like to get connected with a person and see where they're at now and their lifestyle, and then build a plan around that. So it's really individualized.
So you have a consultation with them.
Yes.
And it goes through nutrition, through what their goals are.
Yes.
And you know, no one has to be like Miss or Miss America, or it's Mr. or Miss America. I was actually listening to a podcast, not even a podcast. It was a interview with Arnold Schwarzenegger on the way up here. And he was talking about when he wanted to become Mr. Universe, and that he used to put pictures of all of these bodybuilders all around his room, and his vision was to become Mr. Universe. But that necessarily wasn't his goal. His goal was to like impress girls, you know. And he's like, "That's okay." He's like, "I'm not." That's what he was saying. He's like, "It doesn't matter what motivates you. Don't judge what motivates you."
No.
Right.
You know, there might be.
Right.
It might be, you know, the girls. It might be that you want to emulate somebody. It might be, you know, something about money. It doesn't matter what gets you off your butt to begin with.
Yes, I agree.
Well, for me, actually, guys, I have to say thank you for mentioning that, because for me, actually, J-Lo is a huge inspiration for me. Because as I am getting older, I'm thinking she's now the ideal of what a woman who is aging can look like. And so when I can't even imagine 50. I'm terrified of the thought of it. But if I could look like that at 50, she looks better than most 30-year-olds. So what's the difference? So I do actually, I think of her sometimes. I'm like, okay, because, I could age like that. That motivates me. So I went walking 3 or 4 days this week, which is something that I hadn't done in a long time. Because
I acknowledge you for that.
Yes.
That's huge.
Thank you.
And as we're talking,
and I'm still in pain, but I'm doing it. I don't care. I need to move my body.
and it's as simple as that, right?
Simple as that.
Yeah.
It's as simple as just getting moving. I mean, somehow, some way. And you know what the thing is, when before I did any of this stuff, I mean, the thought of me talking to a personal trainer was too intimidating. I mean, I think I did speak to somebody at one of the gyms, and then they hand you a massive contract, and then it's sign this up, and you have a bunch of questions, but you're there, and it's pressure, but it's also the most vulnerable thing that I had going on, because I, for myself, was so ashamed of my body.
Mm-hmm.
And to go to somebody and to say, hey, I'm having an issue with it. So when you're having this first initial phone call, they don't even need to show up to the gym with you, right?
They don't. They could be near, they could be far.
Right.
It's really connecting and having that conversation where they feel safe that, when you're talking right now, I'm thinking it's vulnerability. Me creating a space where they can share their struggles. And one of the questions that I always ask, if you're going to have a cheat meal, would it be carbs or would it be sweets? And then from there, just ask. And not bad and wrong people for having that lifestyle. It's not a bad thing. And I think people shame themselves for it so much. Well, I don't eat healthy. It's okay.
Okay.
We could start now.
And ease yourself into it.
Yes.
Instead of, you're not going to.
It's not a marathon here.
Right. You're not
We're not
going
going to sprint a marathon.
But these are the things that people of all of the obstacles that people throw in their way, it's sometimes the silliest that would.
But social media, I'm very passionate about this. They look at social media, they see all these pictures, they see all of this, get fit within 30 days.
There's a ton of that.
And that's all.
They click on this thing for 30
Yes.
seconds, and then they're all of a sudden, because people will pay
I'm very aware.
for the least painful avenue to get to where they want to go.
Yes.
But that's not. I mean, I know what you're talking about. I see one guy that's selling. All your meals are done. He's fit. He's been fit for 4 years. He's had the 6-pack abs, and I know what it takes to keep that and to stay on that regimen. And God bless him for doing it. Mm-hmm. But it's not that simple. It takes months and months and months, and it truly is a journey.
It is.
I remember just starting off and just thinking about what it's going to take to get 6-pack abs once in my life, and it was 4 months, and the last 6 weeks was very difficult. You do CrossFit, and you also do weights.
Yes.
And you're getting some kind of other certification soon.
Yes.
What's that? What is that?
So that's just taking my CrossFit training to the next level. Really working with and being able to spot flaws in movement, especially around CrossFit. People have this notion that CrossFit, people get hurt.
What is CrossFit? If you had to just summarize that, as
Oh
opposed
my
to just
gosh.
going to the gym.
I think you're the fittest person in the world. Simple as that. I could give you whatever, and you're going to figure it out, and then you're going to do it, and that's it.
You're talking about a program.
Yeah, and it could be, I could say, jump on here, do backflips. There's nothing that someone in CrossFit can't do, or it's going to be programming. I mean, from gymnastics to weights to conditioning. It's really and I love it because it has allowed me to step into my confidence that in life, it doesn't matter what's thrown at me, I can handle it.
So confidence.
Yes.
That's a big thing. And talk about a goal, an achievable goal to get, is the confidence that I've gained through the gym, through working out, taking on my body. And not just that, but just to know that I could eat 6 meals a day. It's not easy. It's not easy even for the people that are super committed. It's all about nutrition.
It is. It is fuel. I mean, a lot of people have this idea about intermittent fasting, and to each their own. But for my lifestyle and how I coach people, fuel is what the food is what fuels you for the day. It's like you're not going to get here without gas in your car.
Right.
Or something's going to happen. You're going to be broke down or something. Same thing with the body. And it's knowing the right macros, so carbs, fats, proteins, all of that. And that's what gets you to your goal. And that's how you can enhance your performance, the way you look, the way you feel. You know, it's a lot of things, and it's step by step. It's baby step. And I like I said, I think it really comes down to feeling your body when you have this meal, like knowing if you're, oh man, bloated with carbs, or remember we were talking about that with different vegetables?
Right.
Yeah.
Especially with different vegetables.
Yes.
And then feeling into your own body.
Yes.
And that's a process in and of itself. You know, so for, and I want to bring it back because I think it's so important. I mean, we are a month away from Thanksgiving, and the reason why I heard one person say,
"Are you nervous about Thanksgiving?"
No. It's not that I'm nervous about it. It's not that I'm nervous about it. But between Thanksgiving and Christmas,
yes.
once you, if I'm setting myself up to win, you know, for the holidays, and I know that there's going to be a couple of days where I'm just not going to care at all, you know, and I'm going to go to, I think, multiple Thanksgiving. I mean, I know I'm going to go to my girlfriend's house. I'm going to go to my parents' house, and you know, we're all going to eat together, you know, on that day and the following day. But I'm not going to have to care about that as long as if I'm maintaining the stuff that I'm doing at least 5 to 6 days a week. It's not going to make a material difference. What I'm just really talking about is because somebody said something to me the other day about this and about how they were giving up, like, oh, the holidays are here anyway, you know, so you know we got all the candy coming for Halloween, and we're right into the holidays. And the other reason why I'm talking about this is because Janine and I. The other Janine,
like,
one of the other Janines. We're talking about our momentum program, and we're talking about not waiting anymore, stepping into this. And because next year is not just next year. Next year is the beginning of a new decade. Mm-hmm. And how powerful is that to now have the opportunity? It's now October 18th, going into the next decade, you know, on fire. And that's really what I'm thinking underneath that when this person said this to me, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be 2020. It's about to be the roaring 20s again. You know, a decade of prosperity, a decade of abundance, and it starts right now.
Yes.
So I know there's a bunch of people out there that have these questions like, you know, how do I, number one, do I even get started before the new year? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay. How do I get started? I mean, it's like calling you. How can someone get a hold of you if they need to get a hold of you?
They can either call me or they can email me or find me on Facebook. I think I put my stuff down there.
Okay. Well, what's the number that they can reach you at?
609-273-4166.
Okay, we're going to take one more break, and then we have Janine, number 3, that's going to be joining us from North Carolina, I believe. So we'll be right back.
Farrow Law Firm, standing up to corporate bullies, using innovative, aggressive, and effective strategies to resolve disputes effectively and timely. Contact us at 954-252-9818, online at farrowlawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrow Law Firm. We look forward to being of service to you.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show.
With Jay and Janine, give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
Welcome back to the Momentum Mindset Show, and we have a special show because of its content, but also because we have 3 Janines. We have a guest co-host today, and Janine, that's usually here, just joined us from someplace in Virginia. She's going to see her niece play volleyball. She's actually like a volleyball star.
She's really good.
She's like,
yes.
Her name is Sophie Davis, and I'm just giving you a shout out. We're all very, very proud of you.
Yes.
I mean, I saw that you got some kind of an award for being Defensive Player of the Week last week, and so Janine's on her way up there. We're also going to have Janine Robledo join us. She's my piano teacher. I was up in New York with. Oh, this is getting insane. I just want to call her. I was up in New York seeing her show, that she put on off Broadway. It was a It was a production at a theater for up and coming artists, and there were producers from Broadway that were there. And I saw the show, and it was just, I mean, amazing. It was just like, it was creative. It was funny. It was a musical, and so she's going to be on the show talking about how that was for her and what's next for her. And what we're talking about on this show is keeping the momentum going, starting something right now as we go into the holidays. We're here with Janine Foster, and she's a personal trainer. I mean, she's a magician when it comes to nutrition, the body, and we're just talking about how to get started. How do we go into 2020 on fire? And some of the things that we were talking about is just starting slow. But you just had a statistic that you said something. What was the average amount of weight that someone gains or something like that?
10 to 15 pounds is the average weight gain during the holiday season.
That's
It's like you gotta it's interesting because, hey, I'm gonna make it extra hard for myself.
right.
Extra hard.
Right.
And then I gotta go and now go backwards. So I'm gonna gain weight and now I'm gonna go backwards.
So what is this? Some like the people, if they're going to go out and they're going to do this stuff, how can you limit yourself a little bit? And we have Janine on the phone right now, but I just, if you can answer that question, what are some of the things that you can do to limit yourself a little bit?
I like to say, here's one tip, and then we'll introduce Janine. When you're going to all these parties, eat before you go because you're probably going to drink, right? So eat a healthy meal. That way you're satisfied and you're not going and nibbling on every single appetizer and eating and being full. So eat a little something before and then go and enjoy.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's something that actually makes sense.
Yes.
And we have Janine Robledo on the telephone. Janine, can you hear me?
Hi, Jay.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So you're sitting with Janine Foster. Oh, I don't know that you've met yet.
We have never actually met yet.
No.
And then Janine Davis was just on the phone. She's in Virginia, and she's going to see her niece play some volleyball. So thanks for calling in. I wanted to say that your show was amazing up in Broadway. Off Broadway. And how was it for you? I mean, it was absolutely exciting for us.
Wow, yeah, thank you. And that was so amazing to see you guys there. The experience was really fun and really productive. And yeah, we're just kind of trying to move along to the next phase of this project.
So let our audience, remind them a little bit. What was the name of the show? What was it about a bit? And what was going on in New York?
Well, the name of the show is The Curious Contents of Christie's Wastebasket. And it was my thesis musical 7 years ago at NYU, along with composer Aidan Kent Ramsey, who wrote the music for the show. And it was just recently, the production was part of the Emerging Artists New York series at the Tada Theater. And so basically it was a workshop production of this musical. And we had some industry people who we invited to see it, which is kind of the purpose of having a workshop production, along with, seeing the show up on its feet and making more revisions to make it better. So now we're just looking. A producer did approach us after the show and is interested in kind of helping us take the show to the next level. And
what does that mean? What does that look like?
Well, it looks like trying to get it on Broadway, basically.
Oh, wow.
But there's some steps involved, like more rewrites and more workshop productions potentially to get the script to be like just perfect. Like if it were to go to Broadway, like it really needs to be like polished and that ready. And that usually takes a show 10 years to mature to that level.
Why does why does it take it 10 years? Is it just because of the rewrites, or why is that just some myth from Broadway?
I think the reason, it's not a rule, but I think because when you rewrite, like, say, a novel or something, you don't really need to, like, have it performed or see it in some kind of live way to rewrite it again. But with musicals, the only way to really know what you need to do next for the rewrite is to see the show up on its feet. And that means staged, singing, acting, people moving around, and staging a show, even a one-night performance, is very expensive. theater space in New York is not cheap. You have actors, and they have to learn the material, and it's, they learn the music and the script, which is like kind of a double whammy to put up a musical as opposed to a play. So there's just a lot of time and money that goes into even a single production. But it's essential for the writers to see it in order to know what they're actually writing and be able to move forward and do another rewrite.
And I saw that. I mean, the actors were just amazing. I mean, how do you find people like that to just come on a it seemed to me like, having a lot of experience in theater, that these were some just legit actors. They had, just all of them were singing and all of them were dancing, and it was all choreographed. I mean, it was really I was blown away by the music, and even the guitar player was just outstanding. So I just want to congratulate you on that and putting that all together, because I know that you worked like 3 or 4 weeks on getting all that together.
Yeah, we did have auditions. We had open auditions that we advertised on Playbill, and we had about 200 applications. So narrowing it down to 7 actors definitely took some time. So yeah, it's all part of the process.
So how are you feeling now? How are you?
I'm feeling great. I'm a little nervous about rewriting it again, because I want to make it better, not worse, and you never really know when you try to change something if it's going to be better or worse. But I'm ready to kind of jump back into it again and try to get it ready for a Broadway production.
So we were talking in our show. I don't know if you were listening to it or not, but we're looking at, we're on October the 18th, and we're heading into a new decade. And we were talking a lot about our health before you joined, and we were talking about some people having the conversations like, well, it's the holidays that are coming up, and I want to, I'm not going to do anything until the new year. And now you're coming on talking about, you just came off like a high, because I saw you that night, and I saw your parents, and I saw your husband and his mother, I believe, was there, and everybody. I mean, you're on this high, and well, I'm just wondering, what are you also doing to make sure that you're on fire going into 2020?
Well, that's funny you said that, because one of the things that I am definitely working on is actually staying grounded. It is really easy to just kind of spin out of control, because the excitement of all of this is great, but it's also stressful, and it can also be very, very ungrounding. Like, is my show going to make it to Broadway? And like all that pressure that I might put on myself, and all those fears about what's going to happen if it doesn't, or am I going to be able to make this better? So I almost have to kind of detach myself from all of that and just remind myself that no matter what happens, I'm okay, and I'm me, and I'm still going to go to yoga and be with my daughter and cook, beef stew. Like, just kind of stay grounded in the actual life.
So for all of us sitting here, and I know I want to give Janine, that's sitting right in front of me, the chance to answer this question as well. But I mean, my fears are the same as far as my business is concerned. Am I going to make it? Am I worth it? Am I going to be able to continue this on? What if this doesn't work out? What am I going to do next? And it's like all these conversations. What is it for you? Because I know that you're going for a certification, and you're taking on your business, bringing that to the next level. I mean, you're here, you're promoting it, But what are also, like, we're talking about fears and what stops us, not just the image of the gym, but what's also some of the stuff that comes up for you?
First, I want to acknowledge you, Janine, because it takes a vision. It takes not knowing what it's going to look like and trusting yourself to go after your dreams. So I acknowledge you for that, girlfriend, and keep going.
Thank you. Thank you.
And fears. Yeah, I mean, my biggest fear is, what if I make it?
Wow.
And I can't take everyone with me.
Who's everyone else? And Janine, I'm glad you're listening to this, because we've had this conversation before.
Right, yes.
About taking those with you. Now, who speak into that.
Yeah, like it's friends, it's family, it's people that are in my space. And yeah, it's so real for me that sometimes I diminish my light because I'm scared that I'm going to be at the top alone. you know, and it's like this fear of success is a real thing. You know, it's like if I make it there, then I got to be this certain way, and then this person is like not going to be with me. So it's easier in my mind. I'm not like, this is the way sometimes I think, and I got to take a second and tell myself it's not true, is like I can have it all if I make the time. And my success doesn't mean that I have to leave anyone behind. It comes down to making the time and still going after my goals because I deserve it. I deserve whatever I say that I desire in my life.
And Janine, we had like almost the same conversation about like singers, actors, composers, and your work that you're collaborating with or have collaborated with people in the past. And you've told me stories about this.
Oh yeah, that is definitely part of it too. It's like you have this vision and you're willing to do what you have to do, but you don't know if it's going to separate you from the people who have been there with you during, you know, the journey you've been on up until that point. You know, it's kind of like, so it feels like you're just moving forward and you don't know if everyone else is going to move with you.
And that's the fear.
It's a fear.
Maybe it's the fear that this might not look like what I picture it in my mind. It's like when if I'm on top of the world, like you were just saying, and nobody else is on stage, then what? You know, where were the people that I thought were going to take with me? Where are the family members that I thought were going to be here? You know,
right.
and that's got to be huge in your industry, Janine, from the Broadway. I'm talking to you, Janine, in North Carolina.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're just talking about the people in the industry, I mean, it's like, I want to say dog eat dog. Like the stories I hear about people just kind of even betraying each other in a way, or just like trying to kick someone off a project, or it can be like saying, hey, you're not doing, we don't want you, we want this guy to do them, you know, whatever. It can be really brutal, and, you know, it doesn't really matter in that sense, like how far you've taken the project, but at a certain point, a producer might be like, you're not working, you know, it just doesn't work anymore, and you might just get the boot. So, and, you know, you want to do, it's like, my fear is, we did have a conflict like that with the show. Like, we needed to kind of put someone in that was more suited for the show, but it required us to have someone else step down. And there were a lot of personal feelings involved, but in the end, we really had to say, hey, we all need to do what's best for the show, you know?
And then isn't it always the same? But that last sentence is so profound, because isn't it always your show? And don't you always, I mean, think about like what's best for me? Because that you just said that there was something about dimming your light, and I got to take one more break, but I want to continue this conversation on the other side of this, because this is universal. What we're talking about is identical to what would stop someone from actually taking on their health right before the holidays and going flying into 2020. So Janine on the phone, please wait. We'll be right back after this message.
Farrow Law Firm, standing up to corporate bullies, using innovative, aggressive, and effective strategies to resolve disputes effectively and timely. Contact us at 954-252-9818, online at farrowlawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrow Law Firm. We look forward to being of service to you.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show.
With Jay and Janine, give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
Welcome back one more time to the Momentum Mindset Show. We have Janine Robledo on the phone with us from North Carolina, and my co-host today is Janine Foster, filling the shoes of Janine Davis, and also supporting us, and also her business. And we had this fascinating conversation. We started talking about, and it's the theme of the show, is we're going into a new decade. And as we approach a new decade, we have the holidays upon us. We have all these reasons not to start until next year. And Janine, that's on the phone from North Carolina, was sharing. She just finished with an emerging artist production that she put on an off-Broadway theater in New York, and now we're talking about the fears that are coming up now that she's just had this success. You're talking about also something that was powerful about the fear of success, and that's really underlying maybe even someone starting them going into the gym or taking on their health or doing anything different for that matter, is the fear of success. It's like, what if I succeed? What is my life going to look like? Because here's the what I've experienced. When I start to change my life, the people around me not only feel it, but can be completely opposed to it. In other words, like they get fearful because they're going to have to move, shift, and change. And when that happens, as I grow, it scares people around me. When I first started this transformation, my mom sat me down and she's like, I'm worried about you. We don't see you anymore. There was a period of time after I bought my car, I didn't talk to my parents for like a month and a half because they were having all kinds of conversations. I was having all kinds of conversations. But I said, Mom, you know what? Things might look counterintuitive for a long time, but I know in my heart what I'm doing is right. So, you know, it's amazing how we're all in different spaces. You're in the personal training business, the coaching business. Janine Robledo on the phone. She's writing music that she's hoped to be on Broadway very shortly, and hopefully shorter than 10 years.
Declare it, girly.
And I'm running and transforming a law practice, and we're all the same thing. It's like there's something that stops me from taking that next step to doing that next rep, and I don't know what that is. But I do know that whatever we're doing right now is healing. I mean, it's also creating a space where like, oh, we're actually all the same. No matter what you did today, whatever I did today, it's all the same. So Janine, what are the next steps? And I actually want to know what did one of the producers say? I mean, what's the next step? Like the next step for you?
He said that he wants us to. He gave us some notes that he took after watching it. And he said that he wants us to kind of rewrite a draft of the show, and based on some of those notes and some of the things that we noticed we needed to change. And then he has some theaters that he's like affiliated with, and he wants to bring it over to them and then workshop yet the next version of the show at these theaters. And then, pretty much just kind of go through the cycles of doing that until we feel like we want to actually try to produce it for an off-Broadway run, which would involve him kind of trying to get together a bunch of money from producers to stage it off-Broadway.
And as you're doing this project, are you stopping with other projects? Or
I won't say stopping. I mean, I actually tend to work better when I multitask on multiple projects at once because it helps me not feel so stuck on one. But this is my main focus right now because I don't want to lose momentum, with what's going on.
You laugh, and then it is the name of the show, but I just experienced like this 2-week thing, and I just started playing Moonlight Sonata again, so we can connect and go through that because Janine is my piano teacher. But that's the thing. It's so easy for me to stay in motion when I'm in routine and I'm hitting my goals. I'm hitting the things that I know that make me feel good, and I'm doing my thing. It's hard. But staying in motion is a lot better than having to start that train again,
and that, like, you mean, when I was at rehearsal for this run, I was going to the Penthouse rehearsal studio in Times Square, and I was pumped, and I had a schedule, but now it's all over, and I need to go home to my living room and still be, like, pumped and do this, and it's hard.
I think so that's where I come up with a distinction between inspiration and motivation. There's something within you that it inspires yourself to keep on going, and it's the vision. And I also, it's one of those things, I love how you said balance and grounded, and you use yoga as that practice, because I think that when life hits, what is a practice that we, meaning society or whoever's on this journey, can implement in their life and step into that practice that will support them when they don't feel so good or whatever it is to keep them going.
Definitely, yeah.
I know,
Yeah,
Janine,
yoga to me is
that
super
you've
grounding.
practiced yoga. I know that you're like, religious about it. And you'd also dance, right? Like, is it ballet?
Yeah, mostly classical ballet.
See, these are the things that give me, like when I'm playing the piano, I'm not thinking about anything else. I mean, everything else melts away, and I'm able to connect with myself, and it is my alone time, really, because I love playing for people, I love performing, but there's something about it when I'm by myself that I get to connect with myself. Same thing, like you said, having a practice that's in the gym or a yoga practice. All of these things, I mean, are for me, it's medicine. It's like it's something that I need just as much as I need air and food. But we're all going through the same conversations, and what I find magical about something like this, and if you're looking at home, we're all talking about it, and I feel better knowing that you're going through the same thing. Not that I wish anything upon you, but I feel better that we're all connected, and it's like this journey. So Janine, what are you going to do when you're at home now, when you're writing? What are some of the practices you're going to put in place, like other than yoga, to connect it? I mean, I know that you've been working with us, and I think that's been effective to get you to keep taking the steps.
Oh, definitely. I love our weekly meetings. It really was so helpful to me before I came up here, and I definitely would like to continue that. Because really, I think what you just said, Jay, that really hit home for me. It's knowing that those other people are going through what you're going through and being able to openly talk about it with them. I feel like even that in itself is incredibly motivating.
Yeah, it feels good to know.
It does.
Because there's something about, it's like you look at each other and you know for sure that the other person is going through it, and you know that you've gone through it as well, but that you're all going towards what you desire in life. And there's some magic that's created when a group of people get together, they mastermind, they create, they share, and it's share vulnerably about what I'm going through. I mean, I had a person she called me in the middle of the night, and she's like, this is where I'm at. And I took the call. And it's those types of things that I feel like that we're creating in our Momentum program. We're going to have these little pods, these little teams of 5 to 10 people that you're going to go through this year of transformation with. And it's so important to be able to feel that safe space.
100%.
Because when you also know someone's going to show up for you. Like I know that when I see you coming up the steps, it's 5:30 in the morning, and it's like you're not late, and I know that I can count on you, which is like I know that I don't want to miss, because I know that you're going to be there. And then and Janine, I know that when you were showing up at the office, and the next thing, she did her work, and which made me excited to show up for that hour to go through what she has coming up and the next goals that she has. And that's really the magic of the work, is when you're working with other people and you're able to have that support and accountability.
I also think that builds momentum.
That
Builds momentum for sure, because it's energy.
Right.
It all comes down to energy. If I'm here and I'm giving you, and I'm being in service to you, and you go out there and you try it all on, and then it gets me excited that I'm going to go build momentum in my life, with whatever it may look like,
I mean, and it's contagious, because I know, not when you showed up, and Janine, when I went to your house and we were doing the piano lessons, to know that you were there, you were engaged, and I was accountable, but you cared about my progress. And that's what I want to acknowledge you both for being on this journey. And I know Janine's not on the phone anymore, and I'm not ever get the chance to actually do this all at the same time. But I'm so grateful to have you all in my life, because it does help me and gives me the support to take myself on in the areas of life that you support me with. And I can't do this alone. I don't want to do this alone. And so I wanted to thank you both. And Janine Foster, I want to also thank you for the last year and a half. I mean, going on 2 years in March.
Wow.
I remember doing the first reps in the gym, and I could hardly lift anything. But you continued to show up, and I remember our first conversation, our first consultation about what my goals were, what was important to me, why I was doing what I was doing, and getting connected with that, and keeping me on the program, and knowing that there was times where I didn't, there was a couple, I didn't show up, or I was off, and I shared with you, and and there's not too many human beings that I've met along this journey that have the commitment that you've had, the honesty that you've had with me, and I just want to give you that acknowledgement. I really appreciate you. And,
Thank you.
Yeah, and Janine, I have to say, I'm very proud of you in Virginia, and the one on the phone. Thank you for joining me. We will see you next week, and good night.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Momentum Mindset Show. For your hosts, Jay and Janine, we'll see you here next week. Thank you for being real, authentic, and honest.
If you'd like to reach us, please contact us on our Facebook page, The Momentum Mindset Show, or on our office phone line, which is 954-559-6987.
We are stronger together.
And remember, keep going.